interested to invest here in Dakshin Kannada, we'll make sure that they will get a hassle-free environment here. We'll smoothen the land acquisition part. We'll try to give them the best of the facilities. We'll ensure that they will get a proper ecosystem to thrive here in this ecosystem. Having said all of these things, we are having our own strengths, our own weaknesses, our own opportunities. Strength in the aspect of having a lot of medical institutions, engineering institutions, paramedical, some of the naturopathy type of things, even the connectivity with the other world. We have got all modalities of connectivity here in Dakshin Kannada. Some of the weaknesses, I think most of you know, like any of the thriving cities, they will not be having national highway in the middle of the city. We are having one of the bottlenecks, and we are having a poor connectivity with some of the metropolitan cities. That those issues are being taken care. We are like on the verge of getting 4-lane networks to some of the metros, Udupi, Bangalore, all those things are in the process. We are like fast-tracking all those issues. Meanwhile, port authorities are also there coming with the bigger projects. That's an opportunity you can all interested, I think. One thing I always amazed or like something, I worked in Ballari also as a CEO Jilla Panchayat for almost 2.5 years. In Ballari, what I could able to find out, some of the mining related clusters of industries I could able to find out there. Even in Belgavi, I worked automobile, foundries related, but whenever I have visited some of the industrial areas, I always like found it's like some sort of like lacuna, like I don't know, I think maybe I have to see more of district and that industry, but I was asking Gaurav also on the other day, are there any clusters here? There's like, okay, maybe scattered standalone industries type of things. Maybe plastic park is something like we can always look for. Maybe airport is also coming with some sort of like cargo complex in their expansion plans. Maybe we should look into some sort of agro-based horticulture or coastal food-based fish meal type of industries we have to. And tourism also, I think we are focusing. I was just discussing one of the entrepreneurs who is planning to invest around 200 crores here in our districts. Maybe, hopefully, this will work out. Maybe that was in the pipeline for last 12 to 13 years. We are speed tracking some of the events here. We are having a round of discussion with the others also, like those who are like really matters to the project. What I'm trying to tell you is, we will make sure that you all get the clearances from the requisite departments without going to pillar and post. Maybe since the day I have come here, at least I must have conducted 2-3 meetings with all the stakeholders. We are trying to simplify the events. In case if somebody goes through some of the difficult phases, they can always approach the district administration. Other than that, I think ಈ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನೋ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ HR ಇದ್ದು ಕೂಡ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದು ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಡ್ಯೂಸಿವ್ ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಇದ್ದ ನಂತರನೂ ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದಾಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದರದೇ ಆದಂಥ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಮೇ ಬಿ ಅಪಾರ್ಚುನಿಟೀಸ್ ವೈಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಈಗ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನೋಡೋದಲ್ಲ, ಮೇ ಬಿ ಡೌನ್ ದ ಲೈನ್ 4 ಲೈನ್ ಆದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಮೇ ಬಿ BC ರೋಡ್ ಮತ್ತು ಅಡ್ಡಹೊಳೆ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆದ ನಂತರ wide areas are getting opened up. Maybe Beltandi, Putturu, Sulya in that line. I think there are good opportunities. We should think about some of the like industrial aspect, industrial corridor in that matter actually. Corridor maybe Mangalore city ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬಿಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೂಡ ಹೋಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ we should like focus. ಈ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ಗಳಿದೆ, ಮೇ ಬಿ if anybody summarizes those issues to the district administration, I think I expect Gaurav Hegde to take up this summarization of all the issues what they have churned out here. Maybe we will definitely look into that aspect. Only one thing I can assure all the industrialists here, they can expect zero hazards, zero troubles from the district administration. Anybody can get into my office, solve their problems. This is what I wanted to ensure. Post-pandemic, we are having a lot of opportunities. We have to be the early birds. We have to capture those zones. We should not allow somebody else to take this place. I wish you all the very best. I hope to work with you, all of you, in the coming days. Thank you. Thank you.
75 is his father's brother, who gave us the house on rent, and that's where we moved into Bangalore in '77. Thank you. Uh, Very difficult times, I should say so. Scientific evidence points out that the entire family of dinosaurs were wiped out of the face of Earth due to an approaching meteor or ice age millions of years ago, or any other reason whatsoever may be. However, life as of date is sustained on Earth and flourishing. The occurrence of ongoing COVID-19 pandemic is one event in many events which shape our destiny and the way we conduct and live and go along doing our business and live our lives. During 1990s, globalization was a dreaded word, and majority of the industry player, barring a few, conjunctured the death knell for Indian industrial sector. However, as the events unfolded, the innate strength of our unique culture, our upbringing, saw us through with an average income of our citizens growing, and multiple segments of industry as a whole survived and flourished. We established ourselves in the information technology sector, biotechnology, tourism, hospitality, and to name a few. Since 1990s, we established ourselves in technology innovation and manufacturing, and also excelled in medical research and advanced treatment methodologies. Medical tourism became a reality. Indian industrial rules and regulatory framework has undergone modifications and reforms, has been delivered time and time again. The pandemic hit us out of the blue, not sparing anybody, any business or livelihood. The globe has seen unprecedented number of deaths, much beyond our capacity to absorb and digest such an occurrence. Country as a whole came to a standstill for 6 weeks, and what unfolded subsequently was also unprecedented. Every day was living in hope. Hope of a medicine to control and cure the disease. Hope of disease dying down due to natural changes in season. Hope that disease will lose steam and disappear. Our belief, our way of living, our prayers led us all forward, and we have managed to pass 1 year of the pandemic. We must remember the lives lost in our country, in our state, in our district, our street, our neighbors, and lastly in our own homes. The scientists and medical professionals have come out with multiple vaccines, and the country and world leadership and authorities are systematically vaccinating their populace. While multiple questions arise regarding efficacy of vaccine, safety of vaccine, etc. Typically human nature, I must confess. What counts under these testing time is how we collectively put our heads together, demonstrate extreme patience, and take bold steps with undoubted integrity and transparency and lead from front. These are the very foundation to envisioning growth post-pandemic. What is going to lift us from current negative economic growth is large and well-defined steps. Recent indications are that Q3 is better with a GDP of 0.4%, indicating that we have left behind the degrowth scenario to growth scenario. Surely the geopolitical alignment post-pandemic is one of the key factors which shape growth future. We are witnessing rising confidence level in Indian products. Globally, especially the crucial vaccine product and medical equipment, and also the treatment procedure and nursing. The pharma sector will definitely be in focus and leads the growth path through advanced, reliable and cost-effective medicine diagnostics. The scientists and experts in this field have demonstrated by developing multiple and reliable and effective vaccine in record time. This knowledge needs to be nurtured, and R&D efforts and culture needs to be nourished. We have a world-class production facility in private sector, and the same has been effectively leveraged by supplying vaccines across the world. I would like to go back to a very famous Vedic verse Annam na nindya, annena jivanam jayanti, jatam annena vardhanti, annam pranamayaha, pranam jivamayaha. This verse gives us the most important basic framework to the saying, health is wealth. First and foremost focus should be to strengthen basic education, basic hygiene value and aspects related to healthy living. Strengthen and provide access for primary medical care for all segments of our society. An atmosphere of self-belief and confidence in our age-old systems of medicine needs to be further strengthened to tackle and minimize major effects from such pandemics. Nation's border and geographic and cultural integrity is non-negotiable, and this should be demonstrated in every walks of our life. Our dependency on imports of defense equipment has changed forever with our own flight planes, fighter planes, guns, tanks, artillery equipment, etc. The realignment of geopolitical situation in the broader sense has pushed us into a leadership role from the past status of import dependency. We are negotiating from position of strength. Also, there is tectonic shift of allowing and accepting private sector in defense production segment. The government and public sector can then play a key role in visioning and ensuring compartmentalized isolation of defense production technology secrets and technological intellectual property protections. The focus should be on the government investments in policy framework in developing quality technology institute to R&D facilities and to develop a culture and atmosphere of basic scientific research. From lab to workshop in minimal time should be the motto. The third aspect is labor laws and reforms therein. We have seen our women flow contributing to the industrial workforce and even in frontline defense sector actively guarding our borders. The change and acceptance of women in all walks of our economic activity space is a reality. The laws were modified, amended to bring about this change. More needs to be undertaken towards labor law reforms and decriminalize certain acts undertaken and event occurring beyond control during industrial activity and economic activity. I must say, jurisprudence must be the essence of law and interpretation of the law. I must not let go the importance of safe and secure platform for ever encompassing digital activities. This is the fourth aspect, and all aspects have been brought out needs to be tackled parallelly and certainly not sequentially. Much needs to be done to drastically reduce cash transaction, even if small, same involves lower value transactions. We have a vegetable vendor in a small village called Kaikamba near MRPL who has a 100% digital transaction, while cash transaction is also accepted. Much needs to be done to bring in awareness and ease of living on adopting digital modes and at the same time building more and more safety and security towards each transaction. More and more economic activity must be brought into the activity of digital transaction, which in turn brings in tax accountability and in turn a culture of honesty and integrity in our lives. This in turn brings in self-introspection in what is good and what is bad for the society and neighborhood at large. Good politics sets in, and this is an avalanche of good things to follow. Fifth area of our maximum focus is to develop critical infrastructure such as transportation connectivity, information and digital connectivity, leading to cultural connectivity and economic activity. Depending on rains or not are one thing, but dependence on transport sector for farm goods to consumer center within specified time is not good for a circular economy. Making available self-sustainable and large-scale infrastructure for undertaking business competitively is the need of the hour, especially market accessibility and cold chain and infrastructure. The rest will follow, including accountable money for protecting our most critical symbol of democracy, that is free and fair elections. Indian elections are make or break from rural India. This also is true for most of the democracies of the world. But creating infrastructure with a serious intent for actual and critical demonstration towards environmental protection is the responsibility of the political class, and to nurture and provide feasible solutions on a win-win basis rests with sections of the society. Today, even a common man can fly and reach his desired destination within reasonable cost. The sixth vision path could be the intent, desire, and actual achievement to reduction in carbon dioxide emission while economies world over expand. Our needs and responsibilities in the world stage is no difference. We need to incentivize the renewable energy source with economically viable and sustainable models and put in policy framework in place to attain significant contributions of renewable in our energy basket. The stated vision to reduce crude oil dependency by 10% while bringing in necessary infrastructure for consuming clean and green energy source, including natural gas, is being undertaken on a fast track mode. Reasonable policy framework exists and implementation also is in progress. Large and second tier cities are being connected with city gas, and existing retail outlets are being pushed to provide alternate dispensing units to dispense natural gas as well as provide charging points. This is the way forward to attain commitment made in COP21 towards achieving reduction in carbon dioxide emissions. Just to mention, we need 80 to 100 billion US dollars per year to sustain our economy towards oil imports. Efforts are on to reduce this dependency and move towards cleaner energy sources. The world is witnessing effects due to global temperature rise, and during the pandemic, the emissions levels fell. The solution is towards making available viable alternative energy source to crude oil, both in terms of affordability and availability. Supporting with financial assistance as well as technology and managerial assistance to small and medium industry, MSME in all sectors, and provide the necessary base for startups is a major area to boost growth and sustain growth. Access to judicial system also brings in much needed resolutions to irritable litigations a long way and to sustain MSMEs. At the same time, unscrupulous elements misuse MSME tag and create major disruptions in very ethos of MSME. There must be a way to protect MSME as well as persons implementing MSME rules and regulations. This is the seventh step for visioning growth post-pandemic. The arbitration system for resolution is being given credence. No doubt, lot of push is given for resolution, arbitration and discussions. The jaundiced view of a public sector undertaking resolving a dispute with a private entity through arbitration has changed and no longer considered as involved and opportunistic. Also, there are enough administrative framework to consider technology excellence, ability to deliver a given job, work experience, etc., while framing competitive tenders and evaluating such tenders rather than simply award the tenders on L1. Though much more needs to be done towards excellence and competitive quotes for attaining increasing productivity and accountability. Water is extremely critical resource, and availability of usable water for industry depend heavily on reuse of domestic usage. Serious efforts needs to be undertaken by state and district administration to make available treated or even untreated domestic sewage from large cities for industrial purpose. The onus of providing major resource lies undeniably with the government, and the same has to be taken up with all seriousness. Even making available land for industrial purpose, including land for other purposes, is a primary responsibility of the government, and they have to take up responsibility earnestly without putting the burden onto the industry itself. I have attempted to highlight major steps that needs to be taken, and some have been taken towards industrial growth post-pandemic. I have witnessed immense pressure in the oil sector, and going forward is going to be tough, but at the same time, never give up is the motto. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.